Well, what's going on, guys? It's the Diary of a Graver named John Weaver, which is me. Well, that kind of a day dealing with my dog running around all overhead, losing her ears, losing her mind at the same damn time. But I'm also seeing the rest of the world doing the same damn stuff too, so what can I say about it? We're all screwed. I've been watching Battlestar Galactica, not the Glenn Larson one, but the one that got re-engineered. And with that particular version, it tells a little bit more of the darker side of humanity and elements of it that we are dealing with right now as it is. Case in point. And one of you guys familiar with the series in itself? Guys got the DVD to it. If you got Amazon Prime, you're actually able to watch it. Got loaded up. Along with Capricorn and a few other re-engineered movies that they actually had out. People still wanted to do another remake or a continuation of it. You know, in itself for 4 seasons, they packed a lot of stuff into it. Case in point. While we're dealing with the current political situation, well, we got the old gas bag back in office back in 2024 in November. You know, with that, we had gained a lot of fascism stuff going on. There's a lot of screaming and yelling about Antifa, Antifa, Antifa. How dare you be Antifa? So I'm for fascism? I'm not a fascist, but Antifa, Antifa, Antifa. Which is anti-fascist, anti-fascist, anti-fascist. If I'm not mistaken, we were trying to fight that damn thing last century. We ain't doing a good job this century. This century. We've got demonstrations in different movies and different television shows, and one of them, as I mentioned before, Battlestar Galactica. The ending of season 2 and beginning of season 3, when we're dealing with change of the survivors of the fleet, the colonial fleet, and the similarities that we actually have in it, the little elements. When you get a president so weak, you gotta love it that back in 2008, when this thing was made. Get back in there. Glenn Larson never thought about in his original formula of Battlestar Galactica, or 78 through 79. He didn't figure out about fascism during that time. At least not in one particular element that we're dealing with anyway. The element we're dealing with right now is of our own making that we've had. And it's a pain in the ass. Okay, the re-engineered started back in 2004 and lasted for 4 seasons, to 2008. And he had a few movies after that. But it's in that time that we had President George W. Bush. And we were dealing with attacks of 9/11. We were dealing with attacks on people who followed Islam, who were Muslim, Jewish. So we had those racial attacks happening during those days. And we were just getting started with hunting for almost Osama bin Laden and his merry crew of terrorists that orchestrated the attacks. Took us about a decade and another or 2 presidency, but we found a guy. Yeah, I ain't gonna say much about that one. But in the time of 2004, they were just retelling a story, but didn't realize that maybe how relevant it would be 2 decades later. We didn't expect back in 2016 for us coming close to a fascist state. We had the checks and balances working out. We had some of the politicians and courts and voting make sure that we didn't get into that kind of situation. We didn't have any state police or federal on the prowl, looking to bust for people, just for the fun of it. Or an out of control Congress who didn't have the gulls and the guts to keep a damn gas bag who got voted in the office, keep him under control, and spread his crap all over the planet. We didn't have that. We were focused mainly on a terrorist war. War in Iraq. Thinking that there was chemical weapons over there, but really there wasn't. Well, we're just going to be taking Saddam out, letting the people take care of him. And in Afghanistan, we were looking for this son of a bitch who orchestrated 9/11. But in the story of the re-engineered situation, where the colonials landed on a planet, seemed to be nice and habitable, somewhat, and turned out to be, when the silence came over, they turned fascist. The government of Gaius Baltar had an academy of people coming out to be the New Caprica police. Basically the version of immigration, customs and enforcement, and border patrol, and whatever kind of gruesome fetish we have, patrolling the streets, throwing people in jail, and throwing them out of the country without due process or anything. They were already showing that and demonstrating that to the people. We had it fictionalized. We have stuff like this replete in history, in human history, in our writings, in our creations. So all me watching Battlestar Galactica, I know that the real stuff is happening right now as it is. Where Congress voted in the great big beautiful bill that put everybody else in chains and shackles of sorts. Economic and also physical. That we're dealing with this on a constant basis. So how's it? I can't stand watching the real stuff, and I'm barely tolerating the fake stuff because it is too surrealistic and too similar. The episode I'm watching right now in the third season is where the colonial police, or actually the New Caprica police, is masked. Facial mask. Ski mask. Stocking mask. Black stuff. Black uniforms. Out there to terrorize. Find the terrorists that they are pissing off the sidelines and the humans, and therefore arrest them and get rid of them. Put them in a group and waste ammunition on them. What they've been doing all along to people is making them disappear. They can't stand the government. People said something against the government. Government displayed their displeasure by getting rid of people. Sound familiar? Sure as hell sounds familiar to me. See, I don't need to watch the Trump show. I'm already watching the Trump show in Battlestar Galactica. I'm already seeing a weakened president and no quorum of the 12 to keep this guy in check. Meaning, we don't have a Congress that'll keep our current gas bag in check. At least not enough. At least not enough people for it anyway. And not enough political pressure for it. And sure as hell ain't enough majority on a political side. This things we're dealing with right now. It's amazing what writers can think about when they're looking at reality checks, and they're looking at history, and they're looking at everything else going on. How much of it is too damn surrealistic to us? To me. Think about that one, guys. That being said, I get this damn thing to stop.